I Lost My Body, French animated film, was released on Netflix. It tells two stories that at the beginning move independently of one another, but then slowly begin to merge and more as is revealed about the plot. The first part of the story is focused on a young orphaned teenager named Naoufel. He lives in a tiny apartment in Paris with his foster family of sorts and delivers pizzas for a living. He's not very good at that. We learn that he is often late with his orders and the pizza place loses money because of him and his poor performance. One night, during another late delivery, he gets into an odd conversation with one of his would be customers, Gabrielle. They talk over the intercom, him down in the building lobby, her 30 floors up in the apartment. There's clearly a spark, some chemistry between them, and the very next day, Naufel decides to try and track Gabrielle down, using the knowledge that she's working at a library. The second story is a bit more wild. It opens with a fridge holding body parts, eyes, hands, etc., and it's located at what looks to be a hospital, and a severed hand seems to have a life of its own. Think of the Adams family, and it escapes the building and begins to make its way through the city towards something. And sort of in between those two stories, we also get tiny flashbacks, glimpses of Naufel's childhood, and a background into who he is, what happened to him so far. So I know it sounds really weird, and it kind of is, at least the hand part, but that's really the point of the story, I think. It is structured like a puzzle that will make sense only with time, and it wants the viewer to be constantly, slightly confused and trying to guess what's happening and where the story will go. In terms of themes, the film tackles grief and tragedy and how to handle those things, how to process them, how to move on with your life and not let depression and all the bad stuff overwhelm you. I think the main point is articulated in one of the scenes around the middle part, where Naufel says that he believes in fate, but he also believes you can escape it by doing something unpredictable, taking a leap of faith, so to speak. By venturing into the unknown and unexpected, one is able to escape the darkness that chases them in their life. I have to say, I did like the way that point is being made. I liked how lifelike the story seems to go, with no magical solutions to problems, where one action just suddenly magically solves everything and things start to make sense again. It's rather the case of that leap of faith being a source of hope, a sign that change is maybe not guaranteed, but definitely possible. I also enjoyed the animation style. It reminded me in some aspects of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, although that film was technically still superior. I was impressed by how much the film made me empathize with the hand traversing the city. There are multiple scenes where I winced or was at the edge of my seat for fear of something happening to it. I think it's quite remarkable that I cared for such an odd character, object, I guess. I think in general, I Lost My Body is a really solid piece of animation. It's definitely for adults, or at least young adults, and it's because it's quite mature in the themes it presents. I would say it's a feel-good film that won't necessarily make you feel good, but it will make you believe that feeling good is an option if you make the choice to do so.